Hey guys, Mr. Abyss here with Life as a Shonen. If you're enjoying the content on our channel, go ahead and like our video and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to go ahead and get updates whenever we put out a new video, go ahead and click that little bell down there as well. Enjoy! Hey guys, Mr. Abyss here to start a new weekly video series we're going to be doing to follow... wrong hand! How do I do this? My Hero Academia. Now, I'll tell you about where I am in My Hero Academia. A long time ago, the arc they're currently covering right now, when it was released in the manga, that's when I started reading the manga. And by read, I mean power through until I saw a fight, and then read that fight, and then power through the next fight, and then power through the next fight. So I really am really behind on the details of the story. But I know the main key plot points that are going to happen, which I won't spoil. I'm so against spoilers. I would never, ever, ever do that. So don't y'all worry a thing about that during my videos. I wanted to get this video started instead of I didn't have enough time to go back and watch the first 3 episodes. But since I generally know what's going on, I figured it'd be okay to start it. And what we'll be doing is, once the end of Season 3 happens, I'm going to go and then pick up where the manga's at. Or at least catch up on the manga and pick up where it's at. So I can do that as well as do our weekly One Piece reviews. So the first thing I want to say is not a fan at all of the new opening. I know we're 4 episodes in. It's the first time I've heard it. I think it's not terrible, but that auto-tune really ruins it. I'm not a fan. I loved the first one. I loved the second one. So the third one's a little let down, but who cares? So we begin to start we start the episode off, last time, from what I can tell. The villains finally appeared, the League of Villains finally appeared, made their presence known, and you're kind of seeing each individual group break off into smaller groups with who they're going to fight in this little arc. Which I can already tell is going to be, I would guess you would say the first half of the arc is going to be a lot shorter than it was in the manga, but I'm going to cover that a little later on. It actually kind of bothered me about the episode. So the first split up we have is... And it's gonna take me a minute to learn these people's names. You have the Tiger, you got him Tiger, the group that Midori is with. It's the Tiger guy and the other cat lady with the telepathic powers. They're facing off against Lizard Guy and a guy named Magna, which I'm not sure what their quirks are. I know the Villain Association's guy that has the messed up eyes and the messed up mouth, he has a fire quirk, but it's like a blue flame. That's about the only quirk I know, and the muscle guy, of course. It was a cool fight. I liked them contacting Aizawa and telling him that the attack is underway. So you got that group over there that was with Aizawa, as well as the Class B guy that now know about the attack. So you see Aizawa leave them, head on to go do what he can to help against the Villain Association's invasion. But as he leaves it and looks to his left, the fire guy that I told you about is right there. And the moment that he sees Aizawa, before Aizawa can cancel any of his quirks, all you see is his blue flame engulf Aizawa, and we leave Aizawa. So not really sure what's going on with Aizawa now. I don't remember it from the manga. So I'm in just as much dark as you are, which is good. I kind of like being able to watch this and not know what's going to happen before it happens. It kind of messed up the One Piece anime for myself. That's why I'm strictly manga pretty much. I'm continuing on. I thought it was really cool how they showed just how helpful Yaoyorozu's quirk is. I mean, you think about as long as she knows how to make it, which, okay, is a bigger downside than you think. If she's really got to learn the ins and outs of something to be able to make it, there's no way she knows all of this about every single thing she makes. I think it's just he had to put a limit on it. It's not going to use the limit. She probably doesn't know about a gas mask. Why would she need to learn a gas mask? Why would she need to ever know the ins and outs of that? But she creates it, and I think it's really cool. She was someone you would want to have on your side during anything, just for the mere versatility of what she can do. Gas attack happens, don't even worry, bro. I got a gas mask right here. In fact, I've got 30 of them. Take them, the entire team. I like her quirk. Yaoyorozu is my favorite female character, so hopefully they'll keep on highlighting her some more. I also like that you had the Class B students that were dragging away some of the hurt characters. And you had the speech with the other guy that can turn into metal about how he perceives the difference between Class A and Class B being the fact that they're not afraid to take these challenges as an opportunity to push themselves forward. That is the biggest separating factor between A and B. it's not that they're so much more powerful, or Class B is so much more weak. They're pretty even. They've both got some insane quirks in their classes, and the only difference is the fact that Class A is much more willing to throw itself in dangerous situations and push itself beyond any level or beyond any ceilings they thought they had. Whereas Class B, which seems to have kind of a hang-up, especially the one guy, I forgot his name, about being the B class. And if they can take this opportunity and push himself beyond that and go back and help, he'll be able to be just as good as anyone from Class A, which I do agree with him with. And I don't know if it was shown in the previous episodes, but we do know now that the muscle quirk guy was the ones that killed Koda's parents. So it makes it much more emotional when you see him slowly walking up to Koda, while they're showing the flashes of the news report and Koda hearing it as a child, and the slow realization to him that this man that is walking towards him is the one who took his parents' life. I mean, that's got to be frightening. Koda's a very brave child to be able to even sit there and not pee his pants, having this hulking beast walking towards him and revealing his false eye. At that moment, though, is when Midoriya makes his appearance. And what I really like about the fight that we saw in this episode, though I do have some negatives with it, I loved seeing power quirk versus power quirk. Midoriya's type of quirk versus Midoriya's type of quirk. We get to see someone who grew up with this quirk, who knows the ins and outs of how to use it and how to push his strength and speed to the highest levels. I mean, like he said, my muscles can grow so big and so powerful that my skin cannot contain them, which I thought was a cool way for the creator to go about having a muscle quirk. It's a lot cooler than seeing like a Dragon Ball Z guy that just has these ridiculous muscles under his body that's physically impossible for anyone to have. So he went the route of having those muscles added on to his already regular arm. So it kind of makes a little more sense than any of your normal power-ups, like Midoriya's. You know, he just gets mystical power from somewhere. This guy at least adds muscle to his body. He's very violent. He's the typical kind of villain that likes to torture his people, see them bleed. The problem that I had with this fight is the way that they addressed it. Though it has been a while, I remember when I read the fight in the manga, it seemed a lot longer. It felt a lot more emotional. Though I did like how emotional they dealt with this, and I'll speak about it a little later. But I think they lost an opportunity to really show how hopeless Midoriya felt in this fight, how hopelessly overpowered he was, and what it meant to truly push himself beyond that 100% limit. I would like to talk about that as well. When Midoriya, and this is not from knowledge further in the manga, I may know if they even answered this. When Midoriya says he's using a 100% punch, I think it's fairly obvious, even though Midoriya thinks differently, that 100% is not All Might's 100%. I would think of it as like, okay, here is the base of One For All, like the floor. Here is where Midoriya is at right now. So Midoriya can use 100% of this, but if he later on leveled it up, that 100% would be much more than the previous 1% he had. And to go along with that, you know how he says, like, it was either 1,000 or 1,000,000%, I don't remember which one it was, but I think that is actually what's dipping into the well of power that All Might was able to use. Because 1,000% beyond what his 100% is still doesn't touch All Might's final power. That would probably take Midoriya from here to maybe here, with All Might being still, like, up here. So I just want to make it apparent that it's not that he's going, not a Dragon Ball Z thing where he's using some untapped potential. He just doesn't know how far his ability can go. So to him, as far as he's concerned, this is 100% of what I have. And I think they kind of showed that when he went through and did the 1,000%, and it showed him going through the succession of all the All Might's power-ups. I think that's what it was. And I do find it a little odd that the backlash on using 1,000%, since 100% injured his arm, that full percent should have just knocked Midoriya completely out of this right now. But anyways, it was still pretty good. What I really loved about the fight, and I got chills during the fight. Like, I'm not saying the fight was bad, because I know why they did it. What's coming is completely worth it. It's totally fine to cut this fight a little short, because there's some badass stuff about to come. It's going to highlight a lot of characters in the show that haven't though have been highlighted, haven't gotten their full development yet. I mean, it's going to be really cool, especially the final fight. If they're going where I think they're going to go, and they end it where I think they are. They could split it up into 2 arcs, but I don't think it'll work like that. I wanted to give my favorite parts of the fight, those moments that I did feel chills at. And it's when Midoriya, it's after he uses 100% on the muscle guy, and he punches them, and it has no effect on the muscle guy. I mean, he stands right up and it's like, that was it? That's all you got? You see what I'm doing right here, bro? I'm stacking muscle on muscle. You're not anything compared to me. Then he pumps up his muscle, goes at Midoriya. Midoriya goes 100% again, but he's already injured. Hits the guy, and it's nothing. It doesn't do a single thing. And the muscles from his punch start to envelop Midoriya and crush him. And you have this moment where Midoriya is starting to realize, like, oh my god, I'm fucked. Like, I'm dead now. This guy wants me to die. I'm being crushed under the weight of his muscles. And he starts apologizing to his family, telling his mom that he tried his best and he's very sorry and he couldn't say goodbye to her, and that apologizing to All Might all the while the muscle fist is just crushing him. And you could feel the intensity of it because you had examples throughout the fight of how strong that punch really is. And Midoriya's being crushed underneath it. All the while, Kota, before Midoriya even does this, Kota's just begging him to run. Like, please, dude, you've got to get away. But Midoriya is becoming more the hero that he desires to be, more like All Might, which is actually what gets him to be able to push beyond, to go plus ultra when he hears All Might's voice in his head and knows that Kota is behind him and that after he falls, Kota is next. Because this is not the type of villain to let a child live. This guy could not care less. And he wells up inside of himself, and you finally see Midoriya push himself further beyond anything we have ever seen before. That point, like it had, not further than we've seen before. We saw him do it when, I don't remember this guy's name either, when he fought the guy that could control your body, and he went full one for all, and you did the little ding, 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 where he uses all the power combined. But he only got to flick his finger. This is the first time we really got to see a full punch from Midoriya at this state that he's currently in. And it one-hit KOs the guy, which he got a punch to the face with no muscles there to protect his face. So I feel like Midoriya should have just blown his head off. But that was the end of that fight. Like I said, I know why they're doing it, but it was still a little disappointing. I think at least 2 episodes, or having his fight intermittently throughout at least a little of the other characters' fights, because Midoriya still has to catch up to them. So I think you could have stretched it out and made it feel a lot more impactful like it felt in the manga. But I had a good time watching it. I know y'all did, and I definitely know you're going to be excited with what's coming in the episodes after this. What I'm going to do is eventually go back. I did watch the first episode, but it's like filler, so I'm not reviewing that. But I'm going to watch the second and third episode, probably do a comprehensive review on both of them just to knock it out. I don't like starting something in 4 episodes in and not, touching the beginning of the show. That's really all I got to say about this week's episode. I'll see y'all next time.